Well, the air feels much cleaner this morning. It's 62. We had that really heavy storm come through right after we put Ruby in the garage last night. Locally there was some damage, but not here, thank goodness. And then we had another line of storms come through around 7:30 this morning, and a lot of that pollen's been knocked down, and it should be a nice day. Now this spot in the bathroom is a normal wintertime spot for midnight. Not sure why Big Boy is sacked out here this afternoon. Nighttime, on the other hand, is really enjoying the sunlight this afternoon. She says, "Mom, you're disrupting my nap. Do you need something?" So I had gotten this adult style marble run system for Johnny for Christmas, and you know, I get it that he's kind of big for this stuff now, but he had not opened it, and I went ahead and opened everything up and put it in a storage bin, you know, with the suggestion that let's take a few minutes a day to try something new, do something off the computer, that kind of thing. So we'll see. It looks interesting. If not him, me. So we're back out in the garage. I'm not sure what we're going to do today, but we're going to do something. I think
eclectic. Today's a very eclectic day.
I think it's important right now, while we're all sort of locked down, that we break up our day into different things. Yeah. Of course, there's the entertainment. Dawn and I watched some YouTubes this morning. Yep. We'll watch a couple.
Love that Sandy Monroe Live. Yeah, really digging that.
Yeah, and we'll watch a TV show or two tonight. Yeah. Then there's taking care of yourself, eating, sleeping, cleaning up your space, you know, personal hygiene, all of that stuff. And then, you know, there's also a little bit of something you wouldn't get to do when you're into the day-to-day grind of the normal American work life. You know, something different, there's opportunity here. We have all this extra time.
Oh yeah, right.
Dawn and I have been cleaning and organizing and doing projects that were on the list.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, so I think our balance of, you know, entertainment, taking care of ourselves, trying something new, and, you know, doing the things that have to be done, take out the trash, go to the landfill, try to figure out how to get groceries. So it's like four parts of the day. Don't let them all blur together too much.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is. I think this is a real opportunity, because it kind of gave us some reason to get out and do stuff that, you know, I kind of always wanted to do, but, you know, I wasn't really looking for it. But there's like, you know, it isn't like, oh, well, we could have went somewhere and done this, or went somewhere and did that. Well, none of those discussions happened. We was just like, well, we're going to stay home today. What would you like to do for a couple hours?
Right.
And we've had no trouble, I mean, without coming up with things to do. And more importantly, not being, you know, we're going back to work on Monday, and so I got to finish this weekend, you know, none of that pressure. You know, we get as far as we get. We get tired, we knock off, we go do, as Marianne said, we change gears to the next phase of the day. And tomorrow we just pick back up where we're at, because, you know, it's just never had that opportunity. I mean, it's sort of...
This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
It's even different than being retired. I mean, because, you know, although I tend to stay at home quite a bit, Marianne, she goes and does stuff outside, you know, away from home.
Right. Now, I miss driving around in my car, don't get me wrong, but this is what it is. So my idea is make the most of it. Yeah. You're here, you got it, it's happening, make the most of it.
Right.
So totally, you know, I gotta ask Don to tell us what we're up to today. He's the team lead out here in the garage.
I'm the idea man.
Well, you know, look, I can find projects for you.
No. I come up with my own project.
He's very helpful with mine when I have them, but right now.
I like this power strips here, because I can turn it on and off. And it has a nice indicator light.
And normally he leaves it off.
I leave it off, because I don't care anything about it. Well, we had, until a few days ago, all we had out here was the camera.
Amazon Cloud Cam.
And then I asked Marianne, I said, look, the old Echo wasn't that loud. The speaker on it didn't really project. And then this new one, it doesn't project at all.
Right. The Dots have an okay speaker in comparison to the Echo. And the Flex has an even less.
That's right.
In comparison to the Dot.
Yeah,
so
there is no doubt that the Flex is designed for a single small room, like a bedroom, where you're in it, it's reasonably quiet, you could talk to it, and it works great. You can hear it just fine.
It's a kid's night it's a security motion thing, it's a bathroom.
Right.
Yeah. Fits in a plug without needing a power supply thing.
So here, you can point towards the Flex.
Don's going to demonstrate what they sound like, the Google Home versus the Amazon Flex.
Right, so she's pointing at the white thing over there, round is the Google Home. So you can say, okay Google, what time is it?
2:25.
Hopefully you heard that. Now we're going to come over here. She's about the same distance away from the Flex is what it's called? Okay. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 2:25 p.m.
Now you have
Happy Thursday.
Yeah, thank you. You have to understand they're both pretty much at max volume there. So now you can see the little Flex. If you're making any sound and you're a few feet away, you're going to have to stop and listen to it. Whereas with the Google one, it seems to project much better. It seems to be a little more. So anyway, I like to listen to my podcast. The whole purpose of these things out here is a little bit for keeping up, so Marianne can say, hey, come in here, we're done, or whatever, but I'm using this mostly for my podcast.
Yeah, Don wanted to use this USB hub, and so he took the Home off of the fancy mount that I had, which is no big deal. And that allows him to plug his phone, the Google Home Mini, the Amazon Cloud Cam, all of these things right in just general vicinity using the hub, and we don't have to have multiple power supplies, and it's a cleaner thing. So I think his intention today is maybe to clean it up just a bit more.
So assuming this shouldn't take more than a little while, to tidy up this and make it look a little nicer. And then I'm gonna use the workbench here, and I'm going to hook up the LED light strips that I have that I'm going to take upstairs to make sure they still work, because I found out I was a little hard with them. Those strips, they're reasonably rugged, but they're not incredibly rugged. And I was pushing down, they have adhesive tape, and I pushed down too hard, and I must have either broken the little surface mount resistors or the surface mount LEDs. I don't know what I did, but some of my LED light strips work great, and some of them, they don't work at all. So I don't want to waste time. I'm going to test them down here, find out which ones and how many I have, because it's been a couple years since I fooled with them, and I've converted numerous light fixtures to LED using these strips, and I may be down to just the crappy ones. I don't know that, and that's what we're going to find out. And so I want to do that before I waste time installing them upstairs, and then, oh, well, this doesn't work. Because I effectively have done this for every light fixture. I basically lay out the LEDs, I cut them, I solder on the little wires so that you can hook them up, and then I test them out, and then I install them in the light.
Yeah, specifically, we're not talking about the big overhead fixtures. We're talking about putting some LEDs under the loft area upstairs so we can see.
Right,
so there's two LED projects for upstairs. Don't get them confused. This is the under the loft LEDs.
Yeah, this is just, I have spare strips. There's like 5 meter long strips of LEDs, 50/50s I think, or 50/30s. So many LEDs per inch. I don't remember all those details. I just have these things, and I have the little power packs and all those kind of things. And I did buy I plan to just use a 60-minute timer. So when she wants to turn the lights on, these LED lights on, instead of using a traditional light switch and flipping them on, she just turn this, and they'll be on for 60 minutes, and they'll turn off by themselves. That way I don't have to worry about them just getting left on.
How are you accusing me?
No. It's more of a safety thing.
Okay.
These are, it's one thing when they're all UL inspected
Yeah.
and all this other stuff. And these are just literally going to be peel and stick in place. So these aren't going to be inside of a fancy fixture, at least that's not my intent.
Right, gotcha.
And so I don't really want them to be left on for possibly days or weeks sometimes, because we don't go up, you know.
Right, we might not notice. We know if we left the light on up there by accident, we see it at night out the window when somebody comes out and turns it off, but this be different for the little light strips.
Well, these little timers are very inexpensive, and they work great. I've got one on the carport. The big outdoor floodlight on the carport has a motion detector on it, which is good, but it only stays on for like 2 minutes, which is fine. It's programmable, obviously, but sometimes I want it to be on for a half hour, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour. So I have one of these in parallel with the motion detector, so I can go out there and crank this, and it bypasses the motion detector, and it keeps it on forever how long this is set for. And then there's a normal power on-off switch. Normal light switch is upstream of this, so I can just turn the light fixture off completely, so it doesn't matter what the motion detector wants to do or the dimer wants to do. So but that light switch won't turn it on if the motion detector says it's daylight right now. It won't turn it on, so you have to have something else.
All right, Johnny offered to blow the driveway if he got to check out the new backpack mower, baby.
He's backpacked.
So Don added this stop to the door, so when we have robotics, the door can't hit Ruby anymore. That's as far as it goes. You know, Ruby is more over here where the seam is, so it can't hit her. But that was making it a little tight walking through here, and I had 2 bins and 2 stacks of cat food. Kind of cleaned up under it and reduced it down to 1, and the spare stuff is now over there since I cleaned that out so nice. And then I also pulled all of this out. Now this here weighs well over 100 pounds, and it's on wheels for a reason, and it stays by the door because it weighs so much. It's chains for pulling stuff in the yard and whatever, and that's all nice and cleaned out over there now too. You can come out.
Hey there.
Hey there. Is that the controller for the LEDs?
Yeah, that's the power supply. It's a 10 amp, 12 volt, 10 amp power supply. I'm going to
Test on it now.
yeah, I'm going to get everything. It is adjustable, and I don't run them at full 12 volts. I run them at like 11 volts. It cuts down the output a little bit, but also cuts down a lot on the heat.
Okay. I'll be watching.
So the LEDs come on spools, and I got these full spools several years ago for a lighting project down at the
bridge.
The bridge and
Front yard.
Front yard. So this is what they come in, and this one is, I just opened this one, so this one ought to be good. This one on the table here that I was testing with is actually 2 pieces. You can cut them. In fact, if you get a real close up here, they show you little pictures of scissors, so you can cut them on every 3 segments, and with scissors. And then if you ever find yourself having to rejoin them, you have to have these little clips. The fingers that you see there, the shiny fingers, actually the tape slips underneath those fingers, and then this lid closes down, and there's 2 little prongs that basically short these 2 together and short those 2 together, plus kind of dig into that little copper dot, and it works really well. This string that's 12 volts, so let me drop it down. That's 10 volts. This is 10.3 volts, about right at 1 amp, and there's 11 volts. It's 1.3 amps.
Well, it is noticeable difference to my eye when you're adjusting it.
Well, they're rated at 12 volts, so there's 12 volts, 1.72 amps.
That's bright.
Yeah,
that hurts your eyes if you look at it.
That's right. That's why I like the diffusers, is it cuts down a little bit on that brightness. You can't look at it after a while. That's right. You absolutely cannot look at it. So anyway, this is a little over a 4-foot strip because it's made up, I joined them together. I need 16, total of 16 feet. And 4 foot, what did I say the current was? I did the math in my brain a while ago, and I said, oh, I'm going to have to use my 10 amp power supply. So to run them at full voltage of 12 volts, yeah, figure like 1 3/4 amps, just say 1.75 amps for 4 feet. So 16 would be 4 times that, so you're close to 8 amps. So I had 3 amps, 5 amps, and 10 amps. So I'm going up to 10, so I'll have plenty of safety factor on this.
So just to be clear, up underneath here is where Don's talking about putting these LEDs under the loft.
Right. And that's 10 volts.
Wow, look at you! Don just turned the lights out so we could see what they were really doing. Right. Way cool. So I've been through that box of my mother's stuff, my grandmother. And now I'm going through this box. I had gone through most of the boxes back in 2013, but these two I had not because, well, I pulled out so much nice stuff to put in the curio cabinets in the house. I didn't have any place else to put anything, but the first box was mostly clear glass. I'm hoping for some colored stuff in here. I'm really glad I had the time, remembrance, inclination, motivation, and good company from Dawn to go through those boxes that seriously I've been meaning to go through since 2013. So, yeah, I did not find as many treasures as I would have liked, although the milk jugs and the, or whiskey jugs, I guess, is probably more likely what it was. And this one platter that I decided to leave out were very pretty to see and find. I mounted the timer in this handy box that he knew right where it was, and he put up this old school metal power strip up there, and he's working on the mounting the power. Right. Power what? Power supply. Power supply. I'm tired. Johnny's downstairs doing his Taekwondo class, so if you hear chatter in the background, they're running him ragged down there.
That's right. So I've put the timer in. I plug it into this power strip. Yeah, so we got a nice little timer here. You can turn it, and so it'll turn off. Plugs into this power strip. Which Don just mounted on the wall. I just mounted this power strip to the wall. And he says it's not going nowhere. It's not going anywhere. It's screwed to the wall. And there's the power supply. That's the power supply. Those wires are a little dangly, the red and the black. I should probably dress them up a little bit.
And there's the lights.
And there's the lights. That's right.
Turn off the overhead light.
Oh, sure, we can do that.
Now this camera's got the ND sensor set to equalize light distribution when lighting conditions change, but that's a reasonably accurate representation of. Well, it's certainly not a dark corner anymore, and like I said, it's set at 10. I set the voltage. It's 10.5 volts right now. I don't really want to crank it up because I don't want to. At 12 volts, yeah, they're just barely warm. I mean, I got my hand on them, and they've been on for enough time that they'd be hot. But so, you know, after I get everything the way I guess at that point, then I will you know, may crank up the voltage. Well, it's not hard for you to change it. Oh yeah, it's just a potentiometer on that power supply. There you go. One time, number 3. Go. 90 degrees. Come back. I've got St. Louis ribs in the oven. Time to go put a little bit of sauce on them. Not too much sauce, but a little bit. And this boy has been by the garage door waiting on his people to come and go and attention him pretty much all day. Dinner was yummy. And you know what I'm up to. Pokemon. And then put Ruby in the garage. You're going to have to go away from the car, Slate. Hi, honey. Underneath is not good. There you go. Good girl. I didn't mean to scare you. But you can't be near the car. Ah, Ruby, Ruby, Ruby. Good evening, Ruby. Oh, and I've got 20.12.15 to install when we get home. So I did come down on Main Street, and this is the second one of these eggs I've seen. It was suggested that the kids Easter egg hunt by putting them up in windows and just driving around. I guess someone has also installed some downtown, and you can just drive around and find them. They must spell something if you get all of the letters. I'm thinking install now.